Ben, I would recommend that you maybe stay overseas and not come back because thanks to Trump and Republicans, 17 million people in this country are going to lose health care. Our debt is going to explode because we're giving tax breaks to the richest people in the country. The U.S. government is going to fuck over clean energy producers for absolutely no reason, and no one seems to care.
Yeah, I have to say that as bad as things are, they look even worse from outside the country because it doesn't make any sense when you're not like in the belly of that beast. And to your point, Tommy, like one of the things I learned in all my years in government and since is that nothing is more important to America's position in the world than what we do in America. It's not the foreign policy, it's kind of what we're doing. And stacking up trillions of dollars in debt and passing bills that lead to the deaths of thousands and thousands of Americans and gutting clean energy when the Chinese are like racing ahead. None of that makes a lot of sense, and it makes even less sense when you're looking at it from the outside in. So I don't know. I honestly, I mean, I can't think of a worse bill in my life than this. No. Can you?
No, truly. And Dan said the same thing today. I mean, yeah, China installed more wind turbines and solar panels last year than the rest of the world combined. Why? Because they understand that climate change is a real thing, but also because all of the industries of the future are insanely energy dependent. Like all the AI stuff that we're talking about, all like those companies aren't going to be able to exist here in the United States if they can't get enough power. And yet we're gutting tax credits for clean energy. I mean, until the 11th hour, Ben, Republicans wanted to slap an excise tax on solar and wind energy projects that the estimates would have increased the cost of your energy bill for your average consumer by up to 20%, just because they wanted to do a favor for some like coal lobbyist or something.
Yeah. I mean, we know that they are in bed with the fossil fuel industry, but the thing that gets me is that like part of this is also just the libs care about climate change, so we're going to get rid of that, right?
Let's own them.
But these people, I mean, to just stay on the China point for a second, China has spent over a decade reorienting their entire economy around clean energy, around technological inputs for AI, around supply chains for critical minerals. And we are look at the same people that love to talk really tough about how they're going to stand up to the Chinese Communist Party are literally ensuring that the United States is not only unable to compete, but we're not even like in the conversation. We're moving in the opposite direction, right? Never mind what this is going to do to human beings in the United States. It's hard to explain to people outside the country why you would cut off food assistance, why you would cut healthcare, why you would cut USAID, like why America seems to be in this kind of nihilistic, vengeful place. And that's not it's not a good look. Let's just put it that way.
Hey, by the way, USAID is now officially dead. There was a study in The Lancet, this respected medical journal, that estimates that USAID saved 92 million lives from 2001 until 2021, and that destroying it could kill 14 million people between now and 2030, 4.5 million of whom will be kids under 5 years old. So that's what our government is doing. They're passing a gigantic tax cut for the richest people on the planet, and they're throwing poor people off of Medicaid at the United States. And then Elon Musk, who now apparently hates this fucking tax bill, couldn't see this one coming somehow despite being, the smartest person in the world. Him and his Doge guys decided to kill off USAID, which if you want to be really outraged, Ben, read the Washington Post story about all the babies in Sudan who are starving to death because Elon decided to tweet, we spent the weekend feeding USAID into the wood chipper. Could have gone to some great parties. Did that instead. I guess the ketamine wore off a little too quickly and he decided to kill kids abroad.
Yeah. And I think what we have to focus on here for a second is that the principal experience of the United States government that hundreds of millions, if not billions of people have around the world is USAID, right? If you are living in large parts of the world, you are living on nutrition assistance from USAID, vaccines from USAID, the PEPFAR program for HIV/AIDS from USAID, or even just, lifelines for journalists from USAID, right? All of that has been completely cut off for no discernible reason other than the whims of Elon Musk and Donald Trump coming in and kind of wanting to stick it to people, because it's not any meaningful savings in the federal budget. People that work on foreign policy, right? People like yours and my former colleagues, like sit around and they debate whether or not, the strike blew up the facility at Fordo in Iran, or what assistance we should provide to Ukraine. And then we wonder why it is that most of the world does not agree with American foreign policy, why most of the world doesn't want to get on board with supporting Ukraine or pressuring the Iranians of their nuclear program. This is fundamentally so much more important than anything else that has happened in recent years in U.S. foreign policy. They're just pulling the rug out from these people in ways that are going to cause millions of deaths, including the deaths of children. And then they're looking at us from the outside and saying, oh, not only do these people not care about people around the world, they're ripping healthcare away from 17 million Americans themselves. What is going on in the United States? Who is running this country, right? What are the priorities of the people who are running this country? And I think we have to just level with people. Like, one of the things we said after Trump was elected is like, we can't promise you that it's always going to be good news, but we can promise to tell you the truth. When you stack up the USAID death today and this bill passing today, it's a pretty good emblem of who is running this country and what kind of message we're sending to Americans in the world about our priorities. And it's not good. And we everything we're going to be doing for the rest of our lives is kind of climbing out of this hole that we're currently descending into.
Yeah, it is a dark.
Not to start on a dark note, but I mean, like,
that's the typical light banter you're used to at the top of the show here. Yeah, no, it's a terrible week. So we're reflecting.
The Knicks still don't have a coach. I mean, we can banter about that.
So, there you go. Well, some say getting rid of Tibbs was reversing an atrocity. Okay, that was an excerpt of Pod Save the World, the show I do with Ben Rhodes every week about the biggest stories in national security, both in Washington and abroad. Please subscribe to Pod Save the World. It's a great show. You can get everything you need to know in one episode per week. But also, please subscribe to Pod Save America here on YouTube. We are trying to fight a battle against right-wing outlets that have huge followings on YouTube. And when people search for political news in YouTube, they get fed content from places like the Daily Wire or TPUSA that is just right-wing garbage. And we're trying to get good, factual information from a progressive perspective into the algorithm. And we subscribe to Pod Save America. You help us do that. So thank you.